We are now live. The background is a little bit fuzzy, but it's my first time putting a background in my videos, having green screen. It's been weeks since I've been on live, so I just thought I would catch up with people. Above Paranormal, hello, how are you? Long time no see, Brett. If you want to come up on the panel and have a chat, you're welcome to. If I can get a link here to share. I've lost the link now. Hello, Gillian. Hello, Anne. I just thought I would come on, and I know that we have just been on a live, and I just need to adjust green screen settings. Yeah, I'm going to try and do that. Yeah, I'm going to try and do that in a wee second. Try and adjust it a little bit. I just thought I would come on, and because most of us have been on a live, and I just feel like I need to apologize for my remarks on the video, and I did not in any way. My intentions were not to. I didn't mean to stamp on people's beliefs when I says, my remarks about sending people into the light. We all have our own beliefs and stuff, and I feel very bad that I said that, So I just wanted an opportunity to apologize for that remark. We all have our beliefs, and very often our beliefs are different, and I think it wasn't my place to say what I did. I'm just going to try and get my my IRL back up. Back in. Sorry, I'm back in. Anybody that's in the chat here that wants to come on, have a oh. Everybody has their own beliefs. Whatever you believe, everyone says stick to, so no need to say sorry at all. I just think what I said just overstepped the mark, and I want to apologize to you, Caroline. I want to apologize to Philip, and I want to apologize to everybody. I didn't mean to stamp on anybody's beliefs, and the last thing I want to do is make anyone upset. Right, I've got the link, copy and paste. Anybody wants to come on and say hello or anything like that, it's been a couple of weeks, folks. It's been a couple of weeks. It's been a tough couple of weeks health-wise. I haven't been out of the house very, very much, but let me show some of the comments here. I personally try to cross birds over that ask me to do so. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I wasn't offended by what you said, Samantha. You know, I do appreciate it, but you know, there is, you know, you know, lately in the last couple of months, there've been a lot of channels calling other channels out and pushing their beliefs on other people, and I think sometimes it's a little bit too much. And you know, to me, it was like calling the pot calling the kettle black, and I feel like I overstepped the mark myself. You know, we missed you, Samantha. Oh, thank you very much. I just wish I was out on locations and stuff, but that's not to be. But you know, the months that I haven't been out, or the weeks that I haven't been out, equipment has been rolling in, and you know, been ready to sort of try out on that, and you know, hopefully in the next number of investigations, we're going to try out stuff. Got new cameras and things like that, and hopefully our IR lighting will be an awful lot better too. You know, Above Paranormal is in the waiting room, ready for the doctor. Is Above Paranormal here?
Good evening, Sam.
Hello, long time no see.
Yeah, finally back on, thank God.
Yes, it's been a couple of weeks. It's been some busy week. Busy couple of weeks for you.
It certainly has. I've moved house, and it took BT 3 bloody weeks to put my internet back on properly. So finally done now. So I'm back.
Yeah. Do you miss the community? Do you miss the community around your channels and stuff?
I miss some of the community, Sam. Not
Yes.
all of it.
Yes, well, you know, 2020 hasn't gone off to a great start, which I try to avoid, but it always crosses our path in some sort of way, you know? And, you know, it's come to the stage now where I just don't know what to watch.
To be honest with you, it seems to have really slowed down at the start of this year, paranormal-wise. You know, a lot of the more serious channels that I like to watch haven't been doing much, so I've been playing a lot of Candy Crush instead.
Yeah, I've been watching other. Unfortunately, I've gone from one drama to the other. I've been caught up with the Onision saga and J Station. You know, these reaction channels and stuff. I managed to push my way out of it because I was binge watching some of these reaction channels, which is just as bad as some of the paranormal drama, you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but you recently you've recently put together a box that was prepared by Andy, and that how is that getting on?
It's quite good, actually. I'm actually getting better radio reception. It's not brilliant here in Rotherham anyway, same with Sheffield for ETA. But
Yeah.
I'll get a better reception in. And you know that horrible interference I was showing you last time we were talking?
Yeah.
I don't get any of that here, which is quite good. But I'm hoping to do a stream this weekend. And I'll be showing people the new box now. It's been decorated and stuff.
Hi, I like the look of the REM pods made out of door handle alarms. Do you work on location? Hope you don't mind me asking. Well, that's okay. Those REM pods are they're basically door handle alarms that are something like £4 on eBay. You can actually use them the way they are, or you can modify them, put a light on them and an antenna. But I do have a video. I do have a video on the channel on how to do that. You know, it saves people some money. You know, because people are selling those for £40 or £50. You know.
The thing is, Sam, a lot of this equipment that's out on the internet at the moment it's just outrageously priced for what it is.
Yeah. Joey Becker, could I be a mod on your channel? What I normally do with mods is I normally get to know people first. So maybe in time, you know, I will consider it, you know, because when the channel grows, they'll need more mods and that. And certainly, you know, if I get to know people, I can add mods, and I will take that into consideration in time, you know. You know, yeah. So most of your concentration was basically packing up and unpacking again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I still ain't fully finished, Sam. I've got a few boxes left. I've just chucked what I ain't actually using at the moment in the back bedroom, and it's just a matter of whipping stuff out as and when I need, you know, I need it. I was absolutely paranoid the day we moved about breaking my spirit box. So it travelled on the front seat with Jason. Everything else was just chucked in the back of the van. My spirit box was on Jason's lap in the front seat to get me down here.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I started sort of configuring a setup, and that is why my pedals are stuck on the back of this amplifier. But the amplifier that I had chosen was a Roland Microcube, which is a pretty powerful little piece of kit, you know. I will possibly make a custom deck for underneath that I can stick on the bottom or whatever when I figure out a proper configuration. But I did think that the equalizer pedal before going into the noise gate did actually help, you know. It certainly helps with those large, or those spur boxes that causes a lot of noise, you know.
Yeah, have you found out if any of the pedals have helped Sam apart from the reverb and the noise gate? Are any of the others proving useful?
I haven't messed around with reversed audio yet. I have a reversed audio cable or pedal, and I have a couple of distortion pedals. I haven't really done an awful lot with them since, you know.
Yeah.
But the pedals that I have is a equalizer pedal, noise gate, and reverb. And sometimes I have the reverb on, sometimes I don't, because there is an inbuilt reverb that's in it, and it's sort of more cleaner, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it was just a matter of sort of working what's best, you know.
Yeah.
And see, you know. So I just tried out that session the other night to see how it worked. And to be honest with you, I think it sounds more clear on the video than it is in real time. And I suppose, you know, it's sort of like all spur box sessions. We don't hear an awful lot in real time a lot of the time. Do you know?
This is what I always say to people when, you know, when I do spirit box sessions. Please put things in the comments, because there's a lot of, you know, I've probably missed, and they don't realize while you're actually doing it, like on location or in the house or wherever, because you're concentrating on doing the broadcast at the same time as messing around with the box, your attention ain't fully on it anyway. It's only when you look back on it later that you tend to pick up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that you realize what you've missed, and even then you can miss really obvious stuff.
Yeah.
I always love it when people put in my videos, you know, such and such a time, because I think it just helps with the validation.
Yeah. I'm just trying to adjust green screen here.
Yeah, see, I've got, because I do it on Streamlabs, it's a lot easier through Streamlabs. It's just a slider bar you use on it, and it just cuts it all out. I don't know how you do it with StreamYards.
Yeah, I don't have Streamlabs or whatever, you know. But where am I? Oh, there's fades. There's fades underneath.
Yeah.
Oops, I'm disappearing. I'm a ghost, folks. I'm a ghost. Yeah, it's just it's a new feature. It's a new feature on the. It's a new feature on this, and it's just basically you just click a picture or whatever. Like the two pictures that you get is a red brick wall, which is an awful lot easier because it's a deeper color, you know.
Yeah.
And then you have a picture of somebody's living room, and where my computer is, there's a big grand piano. And then, you know, you can put up your own pictures as well. That picture that I have here is Balahi Bawn, which is actually a haunted location. It's Northern Ireland's greatest haunts. Went to that location about 10 years ago. And when I was an abandoned explorer, the caretaker actually let me into the building, and I actually got an EVP while I was there. You know, picked up an audio, and I managed to get into the tower where Andy Matthews done part of his investigation and stuff, you know. So that was great to get in there. I will try maybe and possibly do an investigation there and try and get in touch with the people, because the last I knew is they were closed during the week and only open on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Have you got any investigations coming up, Sam?
I do have a investigation. It was supposed to be this month, but I think it's now next month, of going back to Sharon Rectory, which is still an ongoing investigation because there's so much to go through. I still have to go through, you know, some of the EVPs and I still have to go through the sound recordings because I don't do EVP sessions. I don't feel that there's a far enough net casts to get responses. So while we're doing an investigation, it's always recorded with a Tascam recorder and that. And I did invest in a new recorder, if I can find it. I think it's just behind the green screen here. It's a 4-track Tascam recorder, if the camera can see it there.
Yep, I can see it.
Do you know? It's called, what is it called? DP006. It's a little bit complicated for me at the moment, but I am in the process of going through that. And it should be useful for our audio for camera or our audio for EVPs, because as well as that, there's two built-in right and left microphones in it. So it's a pretty cool piece of kit, you know.
You're not going out, so shut up. You've just been out. Sorry,
hello to the doggy.
It's all right. It's raining, Sam, and for some reason, I loves going out in this garden. He's just been out twice, and it's absolutely peeing down the rain. And now it's singing to go out again, so I've told her I've got to stop in.
I would love to have a garden. I really would. I miss having a garden, you know.
Well, at the old place, I'd got a front and a back garden, but this has just got a nice back garden. So, you know, it's just right for me because I ain't a big gardener.
Yeah, I was a big gardener and that when I did have gardens and stuff. But, you know, if I did have a garden, I would have some sort of an outdoor office, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like a summer house, if I could, you know, kind of like a
place.
Yeah,
a summer house is nice.
A kind of a studio away from the house kind of thing, you know. Because I did plan a lot more streams than that, but even, you know, I plan more streams because, you know, I'm sick a lot of the time. But the thing is, when you're sick, sometimes you're not in the mood to do streams either. Like,
yeah, well, me and Jace have been trying to get to a cemetery we want to go and do for the last 3 weeks, and every time we've planned it, the weather's just turned absolutely diabolical. And the problem is now I'm on a works experience thing for the next 4 weeks, so I've only got weekends to do it. So hopefully we may be doing one this weekend if we can get to the cemetery. It just depends on whether the weather clears up here or not. Because at the moment we've got hailstorms and high winds and everything still.
Karen is in the chat. Hello, Karen. How are you? Welcome. I don't know what time it is in Australia land. It is 10:15 here in the evening. So, yeah.
Be about 8:15 there.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yes. Karen had arranged to do a live stream with Mr. Order of Magnitude, and it just didn't connect this week. So I think it's if I'm right, I think it's booked for next week, hopefully. So looking forward to that one. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, I would love to get out and that, but as I was saying, I think it's Sharon Rectory this time.
Oh, you're going back to Sharon?
Yes, I think that place has changed my life. Rachel's been reading out some of the posts on the Sharon Rectory page, and some of the experiences that the family are still having and stuff. So there is activity still happening there, and I think the conventional, conventional ghost hunting approach, I don't think it's going to cut it.
Yeah.
So we have. I have 9 cameras. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to need them all, but I have 2. I have 9 camcorders. I've got 2 wildlife cameras. I think it's all going to be sound and vision.
Yeah. Are you taking Rachel with you?
Hopefully, Rachel will be here. The last couple of investigations, it just didn't pan out. Rachel had to do other things. Had to go up to family members and stuff, and it hasn't turned out well. The last couple of it hasn't turned out well. The last couple of investigations for her, Cumber House, and what else was it? It was some other investigation that I ended up doing on my own. But it was the last 2 investigations I'd done on my own. Courtesy of Peninsula Paranormal Group, which are still, sort of old school paranormal investigators. They set up the cameras and stuff, and they end up spending weeks on reviews and stuff like that. And I think that's the way that I want to investigate. I want to do it with, not just one camera going through an investigation, because we have gone to investigations in Cumber House and other places, and we've had absolutely nothing until we had all of our equipment packed up in the car.
Yeah, that's sod's law. That is. You normally get your best stuff just as you're setting up or just as you're packing down.
Yeah. I'm sort of working forward. Hopefully in the future, working forward with more experiments with the ITC and stuff. I have exactly the same white noise generator that was used in a laboratory, and it's the same machine that I used while I was in secondary school. Well, I stayed back in class with my science teacher who was massive into the paranormal, and I grew a passion for that. But we had to tell the headmaster basically that I didn't do my homework, or I'd been an asshole in class or whatever, for the reason for me staying back. But what we were actually doing was doing recordings, and also spending half the time trying to translate Italian into English, because he had VHF tapes of Marcello Bacci, and he was massive into Marcello Bacci, and I was fascinated when I seen the first video, and I just wanted to know more. So it was it's very difficult when both of us didn't know Italian and that, and we had to try, and we had an Italian dictionary and try to decipher a lot of the things that he was saying, because a lot of these researchers, they're from France and Italy and these other countries, and those old scientific researchers very often are from these foreign countries, and all the information is in a different language.
Yeah, and they've never been translated, have they?
Not very few of them, actually. The only person at the moment that has, she has just recently set up a channel is Dr. Annabella Cardoso, and I think
I've been watching some of her stuff,
and that has got me to look at EVP research in a different sort of way, rather than just using a recorder to feed some white noise into the room where the recording is taking place, which she believes does help,
Yep.
But you do these videos shouting these people out, and very often a lot of people are not interested. So I don't know. On a YouTube platform, a lot of people are into the conventional, what we see on a regular basis of ghost hunting.
I think the problem we've got nowadays, Sam, is a lot of people don't realise there's stuff outside Most Haunted, and for a lot of people, Most Haunted has probably been their first exposure to it, and they don't realise that a lot of the stuff that Most Haunted does, there is, like experiments and stuff going back years before the likes of Most Haunted and Ghost Adventures and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
I think a lot of these old school methods, they should be brought back, because one, they were a lot harder to fake, and two, they tended to get a bit more reliable evidence.
Yeah, I mean, you have these people that are putting down, the ghost box and stuff like that, with no background backing this up. It was research basically done by, oh God, the guy that died in 2004. My head's a sieve at the moment. What's his name? The guy in America that hacked the first hack show. Frank Sumption, yes, Frank Sumption. There was a lot of research gone into that, and he was a very humble man. And a lot of his research was posted up on his website, and it was free for everyone to use. there was no money involved,
Yeah.
And I have there's another channel that I recently got in contact with, a guy called Kevin's Paranormal Journey, and he goes really deep into paranormal research, ITC stuff, like using shortwave and really going into massive detail on research, rather than just taking out a recorder and just recording, and spirit box sessions are way beyond sort of our conventional way of just taking out a spirit box and doing a session. He goes into very scientific details of frequencies and stuff like that, which the normal paranormal or paranormal viewer on YouTube would be beyond most people's understanding. Actually, I find it very difficult to understand a lot of it myself, but sort of you have to sort of look at a lot of stuff to sort of learn,
Yep.
you know. But what about your own schedule? Are you currently?
Like I said, we've got because I've never done any cemetery investigations. One, because I don't believe you have to go to a cemetery to find ghosts or anything in the first place. But we've decided we want to do a couple of cemetery videos just to cover them. So we've been planning for the last 3 weeks to get to this first cemetery, and like I say, every day we've planned it, the weather has just turned absolutely horrible. So, and you can't really do them in the rain with all the electric equipment, so we've had to put them off. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got one we're planning to do this weekend if the weather clears up. Like I say, we've got hailstorms and winds at the moment, but I believe the winds are dropping down tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay, Kyle, we don't need your input. And, so hopefully we'll be doing a cemetery one this weekend, I hope.
Somebody's asked me to repeat the name again. I can't remember which name you mean. We got Frank's Sumption. We got Kevin's Paranormal Journey. And I mentioned Dr. Annabella Cardoso. Dr. Annabella Cardoso actually has a new channel that's about 6 or 8 months old.
I think that's the one. I think that's the one she wanted. So.
Yes. Very, very few videos. There's about 6 at the moment, but very, very interesting, in-depth stuff. She doesn't do any sessions or anything like that, but she explains what her research involves and stuff. And I just found it very, very interesting. She might do a video every 6 months or so, or every couple of months. She looks very uncomfortable on camera and that. So that these people are into the research. They're not people that show off.
Yeah.
And actually Frank Sumption was interviewed. And he was interviewed for television, I think, and he was so uncomfortable on television. He was very, very shy, and I think he was more comfortable in his shed doing his stuff, But it's great for us now that we can actually see what he was doing,
I think a lot of the best breakthroughs came through, like the amateur, what I call what I class as the proper paranormal investigators, the ones who do it as an hobby, not as more of an entertainment type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got 2 classes on YouTube. You've got the genuine investigators, and you have the ones that are they put the YouTube first,
Mm-hmm.
So very often you get to a certain stage, and then YouTube takes over. Yeah, and I mean, like, sometimes you have to. Oh, it's hard. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to balance out right, because I do understand some people like to do as a business what they love, but you have to make sure that your what you set out to do in the first place isn't compromised by business, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Which often suffers. The paranormal evidence often suffers when business takes over, and YouTube takes over, and that when YouTube becomes a priority kind of thing,
Yeah, I've been into the paranormal for well over 30 years now, and it's only been like the last 2 years I've been anywhere near YouTube with it. But it's been a lifelong interest of mine.
Yeah,
where you find a lot of people have just used it as a platform for whatever reasons, more so than the actual paranormal itself.
Yeah, I walked away from it for many years. And when I came back, the world was a completely different place. Come up with the hacked, multiple frequencies and stuff like that. Way before that, it was For us, it was single frequencies on short wave bands, listening to static for flipping hours.
Yeah, well, I've got that Roberts radio now that does shortwave radio. I'm going to start doing some sessions on that because you get very, 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 very little, voice interference on that. Is pretty much pure static. So, I want to try experimenting a bit with the shortwave. I know it's boring for a lot of people to watch, but it's something I want to do personally for myself.
Yeah, I mean, like getting communication, it's there's no exact science to it. So you set up and you set up the film and that, and sometimes nothing happens, and that's just the way it is.
There's no guarantees in this field whatsoever. So you could go to the most haunted place in the world and not get a single. You could go for weeks and not get a single thing. There's just no guarantees, none whatsoever.
Yeah. And I think lately it's been a lot of sort of emphasis on debunking and stuff, but very often a lot of people that are doing saying debunking and concentrating on that, sometimes they don't see the other picture either, like. And
the thing is, Sam, it's very it's nigh on impossible to debunk something that's got no proof one way or the other anyway.
Yeah.
And nobody can sit there and say they're an expert on the paranormal. Nobody. You can say you're knowledgeable in the paranormal or in certain areas of the paranormal.
That's
but
right.
Nobody out there can claim to be an expert on the paranormal because nobody knows for certain what is correct and what isn't.
Yeah, we have sound experts and video experts and that, but none as a paranormal research as a whole, because it's just full of theories, you know. And at the end of the day, a lot of these people that are saying, this is crap and that's crap and equipment's crap and silly gadgets and all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's everything is theory. There's nothing. We're all looking for answers. We're all looking for answers in a different way. And I do understand that some people they want to get out paranormal investigating, and what the first thing to do is they copy somebody that they look up to on YouTube and stuff, and very often the gadgets comes out straight away, sort of thing, and everything is dependent on the gadgets. The gadgets are a tool for the possible energies to use, and in that itself, if you can get responses on those devices, it means that you asked for those responses and you got those responses and you got those physical responses, that they touched that REM pod or they touched that EMF detector or they touched, or they spoke through the radio. Now, even the radio has theories. Do they speak through the white noise or do they speak through clear audio, which Steve Huff believes that it's nothing to do with the static, it's to do with the clear words. But the older researchers believe that actually it's the white static.
Yep, all the original EVP work and stuff was done via white noise. There was no radio channels or frequencies involved in it at all. It was all done on the white noise spectrum.
Yeah, and Steve Huff believes the complete opposite, and and I suppose he wants to try and believe that he's come up with something completely different than everybody else, but these older researchers wouldn't touch him with a barge pole. Paranormal Drama Lama has a broken keyboard. I've been there myself. Myself.
Yeah, I got problems with this one at the moment. The USB plug on it's on the way out, so mine does that sometimes. Type in multiple letters. The bad spelling is just down to my bad typing.
Yeah, when a certain letter gets stuck or whatever, you know, or the mouse doesn't work properly. Do you know?
Yeah.
Paranormal Tech is going, I think.
Yeah, I've just said good night to him.
Yeah, I just thought I would. Good night, Philip and Caroline. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night. And I just wanted to put that out there that, you know, people have different beliefs, and I think what I done tonight and based, voicing my skepticism of sending people into the light. I think I just crossed the line.
No, Sam, I hadn't got a problem with it, and I don't think Caroline and Phil had either. To be honest with you, I'm of the same opinion. You know, it is something that's down to personal belief. You either believe it, you know, or you don't, sort of thing.
Yeah.
You know, and it ain't something I think, you know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry is capable of doing. And let's be honest, you know, there's no valid proof that there is a light. We, you know, a lot of people believe there is, but there's no proof that there actually is, like anything else in this field.
Yeah, you do have the exploiters at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
That are sending people into the light. And, oh, look, I sent a person into the light and stuff. And, you know, look at me, I'm so good because I sent somebody into the light. You got them people as well, you know? You know?
Yeah.
You know, yeah, because there is, you know, there is all sorts of beliefs out there. You know, within a spiritual point of view and a scientific point of view, with equipment and spirit boxes and all that kind of stuff. You know, there's so many beliefs somewhere across the board, and sometimes people get ruffled feathers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then they start calling each other out, and then next thing there's drama on the cards, you know.
Yeah.
And,
See, to me, it's just a personal belief thing, Sam. You know, I've got no problems with people believing whatever they want to believe. You know, as long as they don't try and force it down my throat as the gospel truth. I don't care if they believe the spirit world's run by pink elephants. You know, that's totally their prerogative.
Yeah. You know, and, you know, from a scientific end of things, we've got the equipment we have, and it's not perfect, but it's all we have at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
The only sort of move forward in technology is the camera that's was it 1 trillion or 10 trillion frames per second, but that's in the scientific stage and it's about the size of a bus. It's huge.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's cooled by gases or something like that. And because it's 1 trillion or 10 trillion frames per second, it actually can see energy, which is believed that, you know, it could be a massive step forward in paranormal research, because if this can see energy, we possibly are going to be able to see in the future. We're probably going to see what we're investigating and what is out there, you know, and the energies that communicate to us, possibly, you know.
Yeah. Cheers, Gillian.
Someone who.
The thing is, Sam, you know, we can't really debunk anything at the moment because, you know, until there's any kind of certain, you know, we can say, excuse me, we can say that there may be, you know, some doubt in a certain thing. Like I always say, you know, I don't rate the SLS camera very highly. I'd never totally debunk it, but for me, the stuff I've looked into with the SLS, to me, there's a lot of strong data there that proves a lot of what those cameras display is done, one via the hardware and two mainly by the software. You know, but there's always the chance if something is there that the SLS will pick it up, so you can't totally debunk it. And I think we're in danger of throwing the baby out with the bathwater if we just systematically this is debunked, that is debunked. Unless you've got a defined parameter to stand by, unless you definitely know what a spirit is, you cannot say that anything is debunked.
Yeah, I mean, like, there is a reason why people are using them, you know. Actually, my first experience of seeing an SLS camera, the investigator asked for the thing that was mapped on the SLS camera to wave at me, and that's what happened. You know, the investigators that I work with, they have 2 or 3 of these cameras, and it, you know, at the same time, it can map onto the slightest thing, you know.
Yeah, because what a lot of people don't realize is the actual software that Microsoft puts out for their Kinect cameras, it is actually coded to put limbs where it thinks limbs should be if it doesn't actually detect them on the camera.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, you know, when people put their hand out and say, touch my hand, that is a result of that a lot of the time, because, you know, they've got what they think the camera's reading what it thinks is a partial figure next to the person sitting on the sofa or whatever. As they put their hand out, it then presumes that their hand is part of both figures, and it looks like one's reaching out to touch the other when it's actually just the program itself guesstimating where limbs are.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not perfect, but it's sort of in the right direction.
Oh yeah, you know, if something actually manifests in front of the camera, it will pick it up. But for me, 99% of what people are actually claiming are spirits on these cameras are actually as a result of imperfections on the walls and stuff. It picking up on doorways and stuff, you know, but you cannot discount them because there's always that 1% where that doesn't seem to be applying. You know, and
Yeah,
that's why I wouldn't say out and out, oh, SLS is debunked. All I would say is the data from SLS cameras is very dubious because of both the hardware and software involved.
yeah, with some alterations to the hardware and software, it could be something in the future that could be a great thing. So to eliminate it altogether, I think would not be a brilliant thing, to be honest.
Yeah,
because there is potential for improvement, but there's potential for improvement with all the equipment that we use, and that includes the spurt box. And we threw out the spurt box altogether. I think we are definitely throwing the baby out with the bathwater, because there has been direct good responses to what we've been doing, and things that could not be radio. You know, what the older researchers sort of want to do is to try to eliminate radio voices, which get caught up in that, and which could be classed as vocal pareidolia in that. But I think the multi-scan system actually does work. You know?
See, and this is another thing you have to take in account as well with people. You know, when everybody's viewing something, it's like the vortex John and Lindsay use on ETA with the smoke. You know, I find that quite interesting, but you have got to be aware of the visual pareidolia that goes on with stuff like that, because people nowadays are more inclined to want to see things, and that is what triggers the mind to do pareidolia in the first place, because it's a much more accepted thing now, and there's a lot more people who believe in it. They're convincing themselves they're seeing things where there aren't things a lot of the time. You know, you've got to maintain no matter how much you believe in the paranormal, you know, and say particularly from the, you know, from the point of view of ghost hunting, even though I do believe in spirits and other things, you know, I do treat it with a huge dose of skepticism. I
Yeah,
don't believe everything I see is 100% paranormal. In fact, I'd go as far as to say as 98% of stuff I see on the internet, I could give a, you know, a perfectly rational explanation for. And that doesn't necessarily mean that my explanation is what is actually going on. It could be genuine paranormal event, but you've got to take into account the normal before you consider the paranormal. And a lot of people nowadays jump to the paranormal end of the scale before even considering the normal end of it.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like the vortex is sort of it's an interesting concept, and I mean, like it probably has a lot of room for improvement. And the last time ETA Paranormal had the vortex on, I was just thinking to myself, what if we eliminate the mirror altogether and have a spinning laser instead?
Yeah.
Do you know? Do you know you can get those lasers? You know the little cat key rings lasers, because they're kind of small. If you have that in a spinning motor at a certain sort of angle, you would have that laser spinning around, and that might be a thing to sort of look into, kind of thing. But then again, you know, it is. I think, you know, with things like that and visual ITC, it's not a case of just looking at it in real time. I think you have to break that up in by frame.
Yeah.
Especially with the visual ITC, you have to break that up into frames. And if you're even doing that for 10 or 15 minutes, that's hours and hours of actual work.
Yeah, but also the thing is, Sam, you've got to consider the psychological side of it as well. People are actually looking for things that look like faces and stuff in the smoke, and
Yeah.
you know, and let's be honest, you could stand there with a grain, with a piece of wood with the grain on it and see faces in it, and this is what you've got to be very, very careful of. Just because it looks like a face doesn't necessarily mean it is one, because you're dealing with randomized smoke. It's, you know, the chances of something appearing like a face at some point are a lot higher than people realize, because you're dealing with the randomness of stuff. Plus, you're dealing with the psychological side of it, that people actually want to see a face, and that is where your pareidolia comes in big time.
Yeah, very often, you know, people come in and they have a certain expectation, and that's what they're looking for. And I think it's good in a way to be somewhat skeptical, you know, and open-minded at the same time, you know, because I mean, like if you were given one of these devices and says, you know, there is a monkey image in this, your job is to go and find it. You'll find a monkey somewhere along the line,
Yeah,
you know, that
yeah.
kind of way, you know. But you know, at the same time, do you know if there is energies around? Do you know what the concept of that is, to try and see that energy, and whether it's going to be smoke or steam. You know, there is a possibility in the future with improvements. It could be the cutting edge piece of technology, and this may be the spark of it. You know, there's not enough moving forward with paranormal technology, because it's not a commercially viable thing to be getting involved in.
You know, all the only point I was trying to make is, you know, I ain't saying that the portal doesn't work, because it's quite possible that if spirits wanted to manipulate smoke or whatever, you know, into whatever form they want to, for all I know, it could be possible. You know, I don't know whether it is. I don't know whether they can do it. I don't know whether they're down. But people nowadays seem to jump on every single face in smoke, or in a mirror, or, you know, in a photograph in a window of an house, and they see these blurs and blobs, and straight away it's a paranormal ghostly face in a window. You know, when you're probably going to find that 99.99% of the time it is basically either pareidolia or an optical illusion.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like it goes when it comes to psychological stuff, like, you know, very often, you know, you've got these new groups and they're expecting what they see on the television, what they see on these TV shows, and you know, if a door slams because of wind, you know, very often people, you know, with that very little experience is going to jump to a conclusion that a spirit just slammed the door and wants me out, kind of thing. And you know, you have to think sort of more logical, and I don't know. It's very, you see, you know, as we all know, TV is kind of, you know, it's views. If the views don't come in, if the views don't come in, the money doesn't come in either. Like,
Yep.
and very often the first thing that these people see is paranormal shows, you know. And at the end of the day, paranormal shows is actually very, very big business.
Yeah, and that they also give people totally the wrong impression of what goes on in a paranormal investigation, because you know, if you watch the likes of Most Haunted or Ghost Adventures, kayak off the settee, you know, you're not allowed on the settee. Don't lie there on your back with your legs in the air. Sorry, Sam. They think something's going on every few seconds, and as you know yourself, you can spend hours and hours and hours at a place and get nothing, or you may be there for a few hours and get one little thing. But these shows that, you know, they give the appearance that you go on these investigations and it's like Scooby-Doo. Something's going on every few seconds, and that is certainly not what goes on, well, I'd say every paranormal investigation or every genuine paranormal investigation. 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to get nothing.
Yeah, but you know, 99.9% of paranormal investigation doesn't have all the environmental factors like daytime, nighttime,
Yeah.
when people are in the location, when people are out of the location. And I think, you know, what we see on YouTube and what we're capable of doing within a number of hours isn't a huge amount, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're not there in a location filming it. You know, email, or you know, we're not there on location for, you know, a week, putting you know, cameras in there 24/7. You know, to film during the day and nighttime, and when people are there and when they're not there.
Yeah.
You know, and also different weather conditions outside, which may or may not be a factor in sort of, you know, may or may not be a factor in paranormal energy, you know.
Well, you never know what's going on, do you, or what's affecting it. See,
Yeah.
this is why I think, you know, if somebody wants to do a serious study of some, you know, a paranormal study, they have got to be monitoring a place for months, 24/7 for months. And then you've got a proper, you know, you've got a proper batch of data then that you can compare and say, you know, we had so much of this happen over so many nights and that over that, because, you know, as much as it's fun to go out and do these investigations on a night or in the day or whatever, it's only a very, very small slice of time for that location, if you think about it. For you to get a definitive viewpoint on, I think, on any location, you'd need 6 months of 24/7 surveillance at least to get yourself a decent batch of data to say with any, you know, conviction one way or the other, well, this is occurring regularly or this ain't happening or whatever.
Yeah, I'm just going to put my Gmail. Don't know if it's a good idea to put my Gmail on this chat. Paranormal Drama Land wants to contact me by email. I suppose my Gmail's okay.
Yeah, your Gmail should be okay.
Right, I'm just going to type it in, actually. I'm not a multitasker. I can't talk and type at the same time. .com. There we go. Did it go up? Let's hope I don't.
It's on there.
Let's hope I don't get trolled. Although
you never know. You never know. You look, Sam. You might get some interesting pictures sent to you now.
Yeah. Please don't send dick pics, please. I don't deserve it. Oh god. Oh yeah. I don't know if I sent you a photograph, but this is the piece of equipment that I bought, which unfortunately doesn't have a cable, and I have to alter the machine in order to get power into it. But it's a very interesting piece of kit, and it's like buying a Morris Minor. It's got all the old-fashioned switches to it. I'll be back in a wee second. I'll just grab it.
Okay, go. You need to put your email address on here, then, Gillian, if you want them sent to you.
That, folks. Whoops. That is a white noise machine, and that was used before we used radio communications and spirit boxes. That was the experiments that was done in the 60s, 50s, 70s. You know, paranormal researchers were in laboratories using pieces of equipment like this.
Have you managed to get it powered up now, Sam?
Sorry?
Have you managed to get it powered up yet?
No. What happened? What's the problem is there's a socket, and that's the socket. And I've searched eBay to try and get that socket. I'm going the wrong way with this. It's a round pin socket. You see that?
It's a circular pin socket.
Yeah. I'm going to search. If not, I'm going to try and alter that without trying to mess it all up, because it's made from metal. It's made from metal. It's absolutely beautifully made, and it was made in London. I have to go the opposite way here.
Yeah.
Do you know? It is absolutely beautiful piece of kit. You won't get anything built like that now.
Have you had a look on some of the scientific equipment sites, see if you can get it off one of them?
No. I'm not very good with the internet, but I will try before. I'm not going to butcher it, you know?
Yeah.
And if I send it to an ordinary electrician, they're going to put they're most likely going to put a kettle socket on it.
Yeah, it'll be a kettle thing they'll put on it. Not that it should make any difference anyway.
Well, it would make it an awful lot easier, but the problem is, are they good at altering the casing for that? I don't want it butchered, you know?
Yeah.
Do you know?
The thing is, Sam, you could probably do it yourself. You could probably do it yourself a lot easier, because it's only a matter of taking the wires off and putting them onto the new pins, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, like the round hole might be big enough, and all I would have to do is drill 2 holes on the far side of it to screw in to bolt in the socket, you know?
Yeah. If you've got like a Dremel or something, it'd be easy enough to cut the shape out for the socket for it.
Yeah.
It'd be really interesting to see that in action, actually. A lot of people are going to hate it because they don't like a lot of people don't like the noise of PSB 7 makes. God help them when they hear the noise that generates.
Yeah, but
that's going to be for a very selective audience, Sam.
Well, at the end of the day, I do paranormal investigating, and sometimes, if somebody calls you to investigate their house, very often, a lot of the time they want answers. Mm-hmm. But they don't want to spread it all over the internet,
Yeah.
And that's, a large majority of the time. And at the end of the day, what I am is a paranormal investigator first. you know, and you know what I would do is if there was anything compelling evidence, I would present that evidence to them in a way that, you know, try and keep their faces off camera or whatever. But if there was a piece of evidence, I would go to them first before I would publish it.
Yeah.
You know, and ask permission. Is it okay to put in this piece into a video? You know, I won't do the whole video of your house or whatever, but this piece of evidence could be important for paranormal research.
Well, the thing is, when you do anything like that, some people ain't actually comfortable of having their house plastered all over the internet, are they? Like you say.
Yeah, I mean, there is a stigma. You know, we're all in this together, but we sometimes have the blinkers on because there is sometimes a stigma in society.
Oh yeah.
That if people claim that there's ghosts in their house,
yeah,
you know, people are still going to think that they're fucking nuts.
Yeah, without a doubt, without a doubt.
You know, and that's, you know, at the end of the day, some of the investigations that we're going to come across, you know, we're going to learn an awful lot from them. But it's not going to be for an audience on YouTube. Some of the time, it's just the way it is.
The thing is, you know, I'd say probably the vast majority of people who genuinely have got a problem don't want to be on the internet. You know, they're not particularly interested in the paranormal itself. They just want their problem cured or at least dealt with in some shape or form, or just want somebody to believe them. You know, they don't necessarily want to be internet stars.
That's true. Yeah. You know, it's you know, they just want the problem sorted, you know.
Yeah, they want it over and done with and over.
I actually have a lead on possible investigations in the future, but they will possibly be private ones because where my doctor's surgery is in Derry City, the road on where the doctor's is called Asylum Road. And you may remember I done a couple of explorers in the abandoned hospital in Derry.
Yeah.
That before and that red brick building was 1912. Before that, so this is before 1912. The mental hospital was on the top of Asylum Road. And it was the taxi driver that told me where exactly this hospital was. And they knocked down that hospital and put up a block of apartments, which now have some issues with paranormal activity. You know, and you know, as big as a city is, I think some of these people think that there's no one that they can turn to. And that's why I have a second channel and we have a second name called Foil Paranormal Investigators, because it's related to Derry and where we are. Yeah. So, you know, hopefully, you know, if there's people out there that are in need of possible answers, you know, we're going to go into those properties with respect. We're not going to do a paranormal investigation like it's done on the TV. We're going to be recording audio for a long time. We're going to be you know, putting cameras out for a long time. We're going to have cameras on certain pieces of equipment for a very long time.
And the thing is, with cases like that, it's obviously connected to the land rather than the properties that are there now. So you've also got the difficulty that things could be happening across an whole variety of houses, and some, you know, maybe more susceptible to letting you in than others, sort of thing. You know, those type of cases are going to be the most difficult, where it's phenomenon that's collected to the land rather than an actual building.
Yeah, and the thing is, Brett, most of my investigations are cross-border on that. There's not... Derry City is a very, very old city with a lot of paranormal events documented in books, which I haven't spoken about. I haven't done any investigations. There's a couple of locations that we want to get into, but we're finding it very, very difficult to find owners of those properties.
Yeah.
You know, the stories are there. The ghost stories are there. You know, Derry City is steep with paranormal history, but nobody actually knows us because we haven't had any videos where we put Derry in the title.
Yeah.
We have a couple of Cumber House and Claudy and that. But we don't have any with Derry City, Northern Ireland. If we and that's why people don't know us here.
Yeah.
There's more people in Donegal. I went once to Ballybuffet, which is about 30 miles away from here, to dinner, and the person serving me dinner says, "Oh, you're on that YouTube channel. It does paranormal stuff, you know." You know, I was on top of a flipping mountain, and somebody approached me. That actually was from Derry. But I think in general, people in Derry don't know that our paranormal research exists. So you never know. And actually, you know, as I said in another stream, there is actually neighbours here who actually got a new council house. This is a new area. And the reason why they got a transfer to this particular estate is that their last house was haunted. And it was the gas engineer that actually told me this.
And they wanted out.
Yeah, it was we have yearly gas inspections, and engineers go around all the houses to check all the gas and stuff. And he was telling me that story because he came in, and I had actually had one of my videos. I was in the middle of editing one of my videos, and he was just asking what I was doing, sort of thing, you know.
Yeah.
So the subject of the paranormal came in, and he was saying, "Oh yeah, we've just been in a house there a couple of days ago, and those people, they got their new council house because of the trouble that they were having in the last house, like." And we do have a house that's sort of similar to 30 East Drive. There's people that are having this, and it's been so well documented. It's been in newspapers and all the rest of it. I haven't heard of anything lately in that, but you've got that famous ordinary terraced house that is, steeped with some paranormal history and stuff like that, you know. But, as far as, private houses go, that's just the way it is. You're not going to get, if your priority is getting a YouTube video out, it's not going to happen for you a lot of the time because some of these people just want the problem sorted. Yes, you might get a bit of evidence out there, but some of these people just want the privacy in that, and I can understand that. But it is a learning process for us, and to just turn that down because of that you turn it down because you can't put out a YouTube video, I think is a big mistake, because every location you go to, you're going to learn something.
Yeah. But a lot of these teams that do these so-called, house calls, they make them sign like waivers to say that they can put whatever they want on the thing. And, to me, that makes me wonder, what is their priority? Are they actually, are they interested in the paranormal for the paranormal's sake, or are they just interested in it because it's going to be good viewing?
Yeah. I mean, like, I love my channel, it's not huge in that, it's growing, but it's something that I can work on in that. But my passion is learning more about the paranormal and trying to jog my memory by buying that white noise machine. What way did we use it? How did we use it? I'm starting to get fragments of that memory back. A lot of my memory is gone from my childhood because I had some traumatic times at school and stuff, and you tend to block it out.
Yeah.
And actually, you know, buying that machine, and it just sort of put a picture in my head, and I'm starting to get fragments of information back. You know, the pictures of us sitting down, going through an Italian dictionary, trying to find out what such and such a word was that Marcello Bacci just said on a video, because there was no flipping subtitles on it. You know, there was these, he had loads and loads of these VHF tapes that he had taped off the television, because at one stage, it was sort of, there was a lot of publicity around Marcello Bacci. He was even on the news. I actually seen him on the news. There was a bit of an article on him about some sort of miracle that this guy was able to talk to spirits through his radio, and that he was actually on news. You know?
Yeah.
And this science teacher of mine, you know, behind it all, he had a passion for the paranormal, and he was taping everything to do with Marcello Bacci, you know. You know, and that's what we were doing after class, you know. And we had the double tape recorders and stuff like that, you know. So I remember the big tape recorder with the dial on it, and we had to take notes of where we had to rewind to.
Yeah.
You know, because we didn't have a digital readout or anything like that. It was these wheels that showed where you were at the tape, you know. You know. But let's see, just trying. I'm not great. I'm sort of falling behind with chat and stuff. You know, I just want to keep some of the. Selena's just joined us. Hello, Selena. I asked a certain paranormal group. There's Gillian. I asked a certain paranormal group if there was anything in East Drive that was original to the house, like furniture, and they couldn't answer. I think, as far as I know, a lot of that furniture it's period to the time, but it's not the original furniture.
Yeah, I'm just putting chat. Even the TV had a fake test card posted on the front of it.
Yeah, and I don't even know if that's the original clock. Was at the top of the stairs?
No, it's not the original clock. Apparently, I don't think anything in there is actually from the time of the Pritchards. I think it's just all old furniture that's been bought from charity shops. You know, that was popular in the 80s.
Yeah, yeah. It's. I didn't actually see the film. I don't actually watch films based on certain houses, because very often it's based around catching the viewer's attention all the time. Otherwise, the viewer's going to get bored. So, you know, it's not, you know, very often when it comes to films, people want to be entertained and they don't want the boring stuff. So it's not 100% an accurate account of what happened when you see the.
Yeah, I've seen the movie when the lights went out. It's far off what the Pritchards actually reported went on in there.
Yeah, I did hear about somebody walking past one day and the furniture was flying out the window and stuff. Whether that was true or not, I don't know, you know. You know. But 30 East Drive comes up a lot. I know Philip and Caroline and the gang went there last year, actually. You know, and they went there with Matt TUK, actually. Matt TUK had organised that for them. And Matt is not a paranormal investigator, he's a fisherman. And he didn't have a lot of equipment, but he did have wildlife cameras, which give me the idea I must get some wildlife cameras,
Mm-hmm.
because it might be a useful thing to have, you know.
Yeah. Well, I got some little action cameras and converted them to night vision. Then it take a few minutes.
Yeah, I tried that and I broke off the wrong lens. I broke off the lens in the circuit board and I actually screwed it up. But lucky it wasn't a GoPro. You know?
Yeah.
I actually just got yesterday. I just got the same action cam that Rose has with the big buttons, and I just found it very, very easy to set up in comparison to the first action cam or wildlife cam that I bought. You know.
Mm-hmm.
You can record up to 10 seconds at a time, which is it's okay, and there's a lot of IR lights on it, so the footage is pretty good on night vision,
Yeah.
And I've got two new cameras added to the collection, so I'm looking forward to getting out and using those, and I got more IR lights and stuff like that. Every time we go to a location, I'll find out what I've done wrong and try to fix it by throwing money at it.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to try and spend less money and sort of concentrate on what I have at the moment,
Yeah.
Paranormal Wales UK is in the house. You're very, very welcome to the community. Thank you for coming.
Right, Sam, I'm going to have to head off in about 5 minutes because I've got to be up at 7 in the morning. That's
grand. I'm gonna. It's 11:20 now. I'm gonna finish up as well. Sorry, I haven't paid an awful lot of attention in the chat. It's just been a while since I've been live, and that I just want to engage with the community and say hi and all the rest of it. And I'm sort of okay, and hopefully when I'm
same here, everybody knows I'm still alive.
yeah, and I just felt pushed to go live after the statement I made on the other live on Paranormal-Tech, and that I just felt I just sort of overstepped the mark and that, and I'm not the big baddie that I sort of, my statement might have portrayed me, and I actually, I just thought about it, and I says, I'm stepping on other people's beliefs, and it's one thing that I just do not like, and I just done it myself, which I felt was just out of order and that. So I just wanted to sort of fix that, if you know what I mean.
Well, thank you everybody for an interesting chat, and thank you for having me on, Sam.
Yes, and thank you for everybody that's come in on the chat tonight. We've 15 people now in the house and that, and everybody's welcome, and people are there talking amongst each other and that. We're going to try. I'm going to try and get myself a little bit of a schedule and try and get myself out of this rut.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam. I have been listening to the live stream. Very good discussion. Have a lovely sleep. Yes, thanks very much, Karen. Karen and Riley are their planned live stream was, oh God, I can't remember what it was about. What was it about?
Orbs.
That's right. That's what it's going to be about, and hopefully it will come together for them. They had some technical issues, and they ended up on two separate live streams. So we were jumping from one to the other, sort of thing. Stay blessed. I don't know. Look at the writing on that. How did she get that? It's very artistic, Anyway, folks, dust versus spirit orbs. A very, very good discussion, because a lot of people, there's a lot of discussion around orbs, and a lot of people believe a lot of skeptical views on everything seems to be dust and that, but there is a pattern of travel that is, what is to discover what orbs are. You have to sort of study the flight pattering of insects and dust.
Yeah, and the illumination's another big giveaway. You
Yes.
can normally tell whether they're self-illuminated or whether they're being illuminated by the camera light.
Yeah, I mean, like, there is orbs, and you know that there are orbs in their pattern of travel and their travel of purpose. And, you know, if you have an orb that's taking a 90-degree turn, a fly doesn't do that.
No, and neither does dust.
No. Very, very rarely, unless there's a gust of wind that will all of a sudden force it to do that. But, you know, you have these, what I would say, balls of energy, and they have a purpose. I mean, like, you know, we had an investigation in the abandoned army camp, and I asked if there's anybody here, can you show yourself a light normally if you're there? And it's a thing I normally wouldn't come out with because I'm not expecting anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I had this flashing light come up the middle of the floor towards the corner of the wall and that. And the way it was flickering, I mean, like, I had to do a lot of studying of it when I got home. Do you know?
Mm-hmm.
And if that is a piece of paranormal activity, it responded to the English language, which is pretty good stuff, like.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, there is a lot. I've seen a lot of YouTubers, and they're subtitling and everything. Oh, orb here, orb there, and I'm going, it's dust. But there is that paranormal energy. There is that energy. There is that energy out there. I actually got hit by an orb myself, and it's like being hit by a ball of static.
Yeah.
But there's nothing concrete in any single thing, because the science community are just not looking into this.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no money in it. I think, you know, a lot of the things now is based around money.
Yep.
How much money can we
agree with you.
How much money can we make out of it? They'd be more interested in inventing a computerized fridge, which consumers would buy. But there's no money in the paranormal. Mm-hmm. There's no big pot of gold at the end of it, and that's what's slowing down technology. Elemental encounters in the house when we're about to go.
I ain't seen that video yet.
On the last video, I did see that. It was the RAF base. I thought that was pretty cool. Thought it was pretty good, you know. Good to see Andy back in the house. You know.
Right, Sam. I'm gonna have to love and leave you.
Yeah.
The dog's threatening to pee on the carpet if I don't let her out in a minute.
Sugar, that's not a good thing. That's not a good thing. Folks, I'm going to go as well, and I hope you enjoyed the stream. I'll try and be on longer, you know, and I'll try and be more regular with my live streams and engage more in the chat. It's just
we'll have to. I'll message you, Sam. We'll sort out a weekend thing.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
I'll send you a message and we'll sort out a weekend thing. Right, folks. Thank you very much for coming on, and we will see you in the next one, whenever that'll be. Hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later. See you soon, all. All right, bye. Bye. Thank you. Bye. Bye. All right, thanks very much, all, and I will see you. I will see you in the next one. You know, I will try and read more of the chat the next time. I know I've been slowed down a little bit. You know, I'm not feeling 100% well in that. And I couldn't read out all your comments and get sort of a topic of conversation going at the same time. But, you know, I just hope you enjoyed the stream, folks. And, you know, I'm going to try and be more regular with the streams and that. So I'm going to finish off, folks, and I will see you in the next one, folks. Bye. Bye.